The beautiful girl who made everyone cover their noses whenever she spoke. Ada was the pride of Umuokoro village. Her skin glowed like fresh palm oil under morning sunlight, and her eyes sparkled like the stars. Every young man who saw her whispered that she was the kind of beauty that made a man forget his mother's name. But beauty is strange. It often comes with shadows, and for Ada, that shadow was the terrible mouth odor that struck like a field sock away. People admired her from afar, but the moment she opened her mouth to speak, the admiration melted into shock. Children ran away, giggling. Women whispered behind her, and young men who once dreamt of marrying her quietly changed their minds. Still, Ada never understood why conversations ended quickly or why people always covered their noses politely. She believed they were simply shy of her beauty. Her mother, Mama Ada, noticed the growing distance between her daughter and the villagers. But whenever she tried to talk to Ada about it, the girl brushed it aside, convinced nothing was wrong. She would always say, "Mama, they are just jealous." Mama Ada sighed deeply, for she knew that beauty without humility could destroy a person faster than any curse. Yet she never gave up. One day she bluntly told her, "My child, you have a terrible mouth odor. You must start working on yourself. Don't let pride destroy you. Beauty alone isn't enough." Mama Ada continued seeking help from friends and relatives, but every suggestion failed. After many attempts and disappointments, Ada grew tired and finally gave up trying. One evening, a mysterious old woman who was always present at the village square for evening story time arrived as usual. She was bent like a half-broken broomstick, yet her voice carried the weight of a thunder. She told stories, sang ancient songs, and revealed hidden secrets. The villagers always gathered around her to listen. Drawn to her mystery, Ada also came closer, standing proudly at the front where everyone could admire her beauty. The old woman paused midway through a tale and stared directly at Ada. The silence that followed was cold and sharp. "Beauty that frightens the nose," she murmured. The villagers breathed in shock, their faces pale. Ada felt her cheeks burn. No one had ever spoken so boldly about her flaw, and anger rose in her like boiling water. Ada confronted the old woman, demanding to know what she meant. Instead of answering, the old woman smiled strangely. "Some smells come from the mouth," she said softly, "but others come from the heart." Her words confused Ada, but before she could argue more, the old woman got up and left, leaving behind a silence heavy with meaning. Days passed and the old woman's words refused to leave Ada's mind. She began noticing things she had ignored before: how people stepped back when she spoke, how young men avoided long conversations, and how even her close friends often found their faces. It hit her like a stone thrown from close range. For the first time, Ada felt shame. She stopped attending village gatherings, avoided friendly chats, and stayed indoors more often. Mama Ada watched her daughter fade into loneliness, and her heart grew heavy. "My daughter," she finally said one evening, "no shame lasts forever. What matters is what you do with it." But Ada was afraid and confused about how to confront her flaw. She wondered if she could ever fix her mouth odor, knowing how much they had tried with no success. If all their efforts had failed, how else could she fix her life? She feared that people had already judged her beyond repair. Her heart felt like a cracked pot on fire. At the edge of the village lived a wise herbalist, Pa Ogbu. People said he knew the language of leaves and could read the secrets of a person's spirit by looking into their eyes. Mama Ada convinced Ada to visit him. Though hesitant, Ada finally agreed, desperate for answers. Paobu listened quietly as they explained the issue. He nodded slowly, then lit a small bundle of herbs, whose smoke rose straight like a warning. Your problem is not ordinary, he said. Yes, the mouth smells, but the heart also carries pride that blocks healing. One must be cleansed before the other. His words stung, but Ada swallowed her pride. The herbalist prepared a bitter herbal mixture and instructed her to drink it every night for 7 days. But remember, he warned, if your heart remains proud, the cure will lose its strength. Ada left his hut feeling both hopeful and terrified of what this journey meant. That night, Ada drank the herbal mixture. It tasted like burnt charcoal mixed with old bitter leaves. She coughed and almost spat it out, but something inside her whispered, endure. As she lay down to sleep, strange dreams came. She saw herself surrounded by mirrors, but instead of reflecting her beauties, each mirror reflected dark shadowy figures she could neither understand nor recognize. The dreams continued for days. In each one, something tried to speak to her, but she always ran. It wasn't until the fifth night that she finally stopped and listened. A gentle voice whispered, respect is the scent of the heart. When it fades, everything smells. Ada woke up crying, realizing she had pushed many people away with her pride long before her order pushed them further. By the sixth night, she no longer resisted the dream. She accepted the messages, and in her final dream, the mirrors shattered, and a cool breeze swept through as two women emerged from the darkness. An old woman dragging a younger woman by the hand. Ada looked closely and recognized one. It was her grandmother, holding a strange woman who knelt and begged to be freed. But her grandmother refused. She commanded the woman to undo what she had done. The woman explained that she had acted out of anger because Ada had been too proud of her beauty and had insulted her daughter. So she cast a spell on Ada in retaliation. Ada burst into tears and begged for forgiveness. After a long moment, the spell was reversed. She woke up suddenly, feeling lighter, free, renewed and strangely at peace. When she woke up that morning, she felt different. She rinsed her mouth with the herbal mixture as Per Ogbo instructed. For the first time, the bitter scent faded from her breath. Mama Ada smiled a deep, relieved smile. My daughter, your mouth is clean, she said with tears in her eyes. But Ada's transformation was not only about her mouth odor, but with her interactions with others. She greeted people with humility and apologized to those she had offended. Slowly, the villagers noticed the change. They whispered among themselves, surprised that the once proud beauty's mouth odor was gone and that she had become gentle and respectful. When she returned to the village square after weeks of hiding, the old woman who once shamed her was there as usual. At the end of the tale, she turned to Ada. Her eyes sparkled as if she had been watching everything all along. Now, the nose and the heart can breathe freely, she said before walking away once more. This time, Ada did not feel anger but gratitude. With her mouth odor gone and her heart renewed, young girls admired her, and mothers used her as an example to teach their daughters humility and self-awareness. People who once avoided her now enjoyed her company, and even suitors began returning with new interest. Ada had learned the hard way and wasn't ready for another harsh lesson. She no longer valued only beauty or attention. She now valued kindness, character, and respect. As her mother would always say to encourage her, a beautiful face attracts the eye, but a beautiful spirit attracts the soul. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more interesting stories.